Playboi Carti is arguably one of the most iconic voices in music right now, having a multitude of different voices to choose from his most recent deep voice to his baby voice. But where did all of this come from? And how did Carti get to this point? To answer these questions, we have to go through the many voices of Playboi Carti. Most fans today often associate Carti with his deep voice or baby voice, but back then, he had a voice that was a lot more normal pitched, dominating a sound from 2011 to 2018. But to fully understand this, we have to go all the way back to when Carti first started making music. Before Carti was Carti, there was Sir Cartier. Sir Cartier released the mixtape Young Misfit all the way back in 2012. Keep in mind that Carti was about 16 when this tape was released, not having his voice fully matured yet. But this tape is what introduced the Atlanta Underground to someone who didn't sound like your conventional Atlanta rapper.
Man, the pot ain't free, stupid knots in my jeans, caviar and ice cream.
By his music,
wouldn't it be crazy if you could create voiceovers that sound like a
raspy old man,
a young teenage girl?
Music, you can tell that Sir Cartier was going to be unique, and he eventually changed his name to Playboi Carti in 2013. However, things were only going to get better for Carti as he started finding a signature sound. He often called himself Cash Carti, and eventually signed with Awful Records in 2014, curating a sound that saw Carti to be more fleshed out, with fans calling this voice the Cash Carti voice.
My dick in the bathroom. Then she popped Zanny in the bathroom.
Carti started working with the producer Ethereal of Awful Records, creating an ethereal aroma to his sound. His lyrics, songs, and ad-libs were all simple, but they worked together that gave fans of the early underground a refresher to the mainstream music that was dominating the mid-2010s.
Got a badass bitch from New York. Smoke kush, I can't fuck with no parts.
But when you thought Carti only liked making chill songs, he had tracks that were really hard. This era was Carti's plug era, reminiscent of the dominating theme of the mid-2010s underground. Other plug artists that you might have known were Rich the Kid, Uno the Activist. The genre itself was dominated by Mexico Joe, eventually evolving into what we have today with modern plug and Plug and B. Carti even has a song called Plug alongside Kodak Black and Rich the Kid.
Call my phone, I bag it.
Something about this song is that Rich allegedly took the plug beat without Mexico Joe's consent. But if you thought Carti was going to stay within the plug sound, you'd be right for a little bit, but then he'd switch it up entirely. In 2014, Carti met a guy that would change his life forever, tipping the dominoes to his eventual mainstream status.
Fucking, is that not A$AP Rocky? I thought the nigga was about to say Pierre Bourne.
A$AP Mob.
Oh, that's family. I'm signed to Rocky.
Now, how did you guys first meet?
He had like a party and whatnot, and I went over to the event, met him, and it was just, and we went from there.
When Carti signed to A$AP, connection with Awful Records got weaker. Though he'd still work with Awful producers like Ethereal, he didn't claim Awful Records at all anymore.
I was never Awful Records. I was never Awful Records. Shout out. I was never Awful Records. It's A$AP Mob. Yeah, that is what it is.
Carti started working with other producers like Chris Fresh of 808 Mafia, making the song Fetty and two of Carti's most popular songs during 2015. Then something really big happened in the same year. Carti met Uzi, making the song Left Right.
Love right, bitch. Love right, bitch. If a hoe can't get right, she get love right, bitch.
The songs would introduce Uzi's fans to Carti's music for the first time, being a really big boost for Carti's popularity, with their music just bouncing off one another perfectly. Carti got an even bigger boost when he was featured on the A$AP Cozy tape. He got on a song alongside Tyler the Creator and A$AP Rocky in Telephone Calls. However, a problem that Carti had was that he never had an official album or mixtape to show up. Sure, he had the stuff from 2012, 2014, but fans wanted Cash Carti the mixtape. A lot of fans often said that Carti was next up, but what he needed was to actually drop a long-length project that fans are going to listen to for years. The year was 2017, and it's been almost 5 years since the release of Young Misfit. And it was in this year where Carti would give the world the sound that we knew and everyone loved him for back in the day. This was when Carti had a song that went near into mainstream status as he met a producer who would change his life forever.
Pierre's
Yo,
fucking
Pierre, you
lit.
trying to come out here?
He's lit.
How lit is your man right now?
He's lit. I'm so happy for him.
The two started working together in the studio, curating a signature sound that would introduce the world to Playboi Carti,
Pasta.
making Carti's first official mixtape, self-titled, which would go down as a mixtape to remember.
That she like me, that bitch want to indict me. Oof, she can't find me. I'm like, dirty up the Sprite, please.
The tape had Pierre producing over half of the songs and introduced the mainstream into Carti's signature sound. The most well-known song to come off this tape was Magnolia.
In New York, I've been there rock.
How did it my sock? Used to say we rock. I'm in front of the car.
Another aspect of self-titled was Carti's ability to make ethereal music with his voice. A perfect example for this were the songs Location and Flex.
Oh my god.
Carti was a refresher to the new generation of hip-hop listeners. He gave something simple but effective and didn't require any crazy fast flows or insane lyrics for his music. All it was vibes. Not only that, Carti was recording 1629 with Uzi, featuring songs like Break the Bank,
Man, my hoe so bad. Man, she need to stop. Posted with the bag. All up on the block.
Unfortunately though, Carti's normal voice was going to appear less and less over the following years. The final times we've seen Carti's normal voice was during his debut album,
Duality.
Songs like Home KOD and Pull Up had them.
Had to go cop AP. Yo, had to go cop me some rock. Had to go cop me some link. I put a lean on the
It also made multiple appearances on the first version of Whole Lotta Red. But as time went on, Carti's baby voice became the most frequent voice that fans would hear from him. Some fans would also pinpoint the last normal voice song for Carti to be on Pain 1993 with Drake, which was previewed by Joy Division, wherein fans would say that this version was better than the officially released one. Carti's normal voice has propelled him into near mainstream status and is the voice that most fans from back then know him for today. But there's one voice that new fans know Carti the most for, and is what has propelled him to having over 40 million monthly Spotify listeners, the deep voice.
You been wanna fuck me?
Actually, all the way back in 2022, when Carti made the song Mr. Miyagi alongside Future and Kanye West for Kanye's Down to 2 project. This wasn't Whole Lotta Red, Die Lit, or Cash Carti. This was somebody that was completely different, and fans loved it. But what if I told you Carti's actually been using this voice all the way back in 2021, recording the song Vetmon Jeans alongside Uzi. He also has the songs 2 Out and Ready to Crash with Homicide Gang using the deep voice, and there may be even earlier tracks using it, which we've never seen before. Fans were asking Carti when he was going to come out with the album Narcissist. However, he'd actually changed the album to Just Music. In an interview with XXL, Carti played a song to the interviewer, Vanessa Satin, and he was asked about the deeper voice he was using, and he responded saying, "I have a lot to say. I'm ready to speak my mind and just let it all go. It's me." The song that Carti previewed was the song Wicked, which fans today often call Killers.
I've been minding my business, yeah, couldn't even be lying. Partner got the crew, tenants on no bossy line.
Though there's some fans who would say that it's an entirely different song from Killers. He also started working with the DJ Swamp Izzo, who would be an essential figure in the development of the new project. They'd make a variety of songs together with a notable one called Getting Money. Carti was expected to release a project again in 2022, but that never came. Instead, there were rumors of him being on a project with Trippie Redd, Mansion Music. There was a snippet that came out featuring a deep voice. There was also another snippet. It was something that was being played in the studio, which I consider, if it ever gets released, to be the best deep voice song ever. Carti actually played the song in Summer Smash, saying this was some new stuff, but fans already sang lyric by lyric, word for word.
Oh shit.
Oh, the first solo song to come out featuring a deep voice was on 2024, produced by Earl on the Beat, Kanye West, and Volta. The first part of the song actually had Carti use a soft, raspy voice that was seen on You're the Moon, and we'll cover that later. What we'll be looking at right now is the second part of the song, which fans would comment on saying that Carti featured himself on the song, or that he hit puberty mid-song.
You gotta be canceled, you make me feel some tight way. And no, I can't be canceled.
Hold on, chat. I never heard the full song. Hold on.
But the song after this is what many and I call Carti's best deep voice song released. The Opium account had a snippet that showed the entire Opium team together, which fans call Tundra. The song ended up being called Hood by Air, produced by Cardo Got Wings and Anarchy.
I'm a gigolo hoe, I bite. My whole career they bite. Some niggas are thinking they faster than me. Somebody should tell them they dying.
One of the most notable performances of Hood by Air was when Carti did it in the Vultures tour, with Kanye and Carti getting turned while listening to it.
All of my friends dead. Leave them in the cold, put them in the tundra. I go great charms, I cannot see her, I make a fumble.
The one that came after this was on Backrooms with Travis Scott. But if you think that's the only song he has with Travis Scott that uses the deep voice, you would be wrong, as there's another unreleased track called Problem Child. So far, Carti's done 3 deep voice songs back to back to back, and fans have been loving it. The deep voice has been synonymous with Carti's image. If you remember the time when You're the Moon came out, the snippet that surfaced had a beat produced by Cardo with DJ Swamp Izzo. This was the first time that fans have heard Carti use the deep voice on a solo song, officially.
Respect the 5, I put your ass in the food chain. Calling my phone, she say Miss Jackson going through her brain.
And about a month after the snippet, he dropped the song officially by the name of Evil Jordan.
This not a rockstar face. I'm an emo, thug in my face.
If you notice the wordplay in effect, Evil might be making a reference to the term that Carti's been throwing around a lot recently, YVL, or Young Vamp Life. This era of Carti's voice largely saw Cardo produce the deep voice songs for Carti, just like how Pierre, Mexico Joe, and Ethereal produced the normal voice songs for Carti. Even more snippets and videos came featuring Carti's deeper tonality, with a notable one being called Cobra, interpolating SGP's F. Taylor Yang. This, in effect, has prompted others to create music using the deep voice with artificial intelligence. There's this song continuing the Cobra snippet with an AI voice. There's also been entire albums made using the AI voice, most notably from Twin, called Project YVL, with features from
This is some bag chaser shit.
AI Travis Scott. He also has multiple music videos with the AI voice, Drape and Rick Owens, just like Carti, with other AI artists also following suit, creating AI music as well. Just about all of Carti's voices have been replicated, even inspiring other artists to use a deeper voice in their own music as well. One of the people potentially inspired by this was the rapper Osama-san, who previewed a snippet called Just Squirt in early January. Carti's deep voice has become arguably one of the most influential voices recently, with people imitating it all over social media. And what's even crazier than that is the deep voice actually got Carti his first #1 song on Carnival, with people levitating to Carti's voice. The last official solo song to come featuring the deep voice was on the song Ketamine, produced by Cardo, Aji, and Twist, being one of the most violent tracks to come from it.
I said my body, I'm the coolest. Trampoline jump for a cougar. Jump out the jungle, go hectic. I'm leaving that boy in the stool.
He'd actually come out with a remix version in Summer Smash, and as Carti says it, Carti showed a more violent and aggressive side to the deep voice on Ketamine, and we might see more of that on music. However, that wouldn't be all of it, as Carti is on 2 new tracks as a feature, and they both use the deep voice. The first one was on Kanye's Vultures 2 on the song Field Trip. The song was actually previewed months before, but it wouldn't come out until August 2024. And
nigga, did he even talk about the baby voice?
The one is a song that Carti like, didn't click briefly? On Lotto's Blick song. But one voice that will always stick with Carti though is arguably his most iconic voice. People today would look back on this voice as being a sign of better times, and would go as far as saying it's what made Carti the superstar he is today. The baby voice. Carti's been using the baby voice since 2017, where it was featured on the song Blowin' Minds on the ASAP Cozy tapes.
Let the window down, lay it out, lay a nigga down, lay him down.
The baby voice is different from Carti's normal voice as it incorporates a higher pitch. However, Carti wasn't the first artist to use a higher pitch in their music. First and foremost, Young Thug has been incorporating different vocal inflections to his music all the way back in the early to mid 2010s. The song Lifestyle with Rich Homie Quan and Rich Gang saw Thugger do one of the most iconic verses of the decade. Fans would comment on how they couldn't understand what Thug was saying, but now they understand it perfectly clear. And that's the influence that Thug has had on hip-hop. He's changed the way we listen to music, and is the reason the underground is the way it is today. But there's an even earlier influence that has shaped everything. The reason that Carti's named the album I Am Music. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne in the 2000s would use different vocal inflections to his sound that early rap fans would often call trash, as it was different from the Eminems or 50 Cents of the era.
I am the beast, feed me rappers and feed me beats. I'm untamed, I need a leash.
Wayne was one of the pioneers on experimentation in hip-hop, and Carti grew up loving.
I was gonna buy some gym shorts that cost me $60 each, but after hearing
Prefab said
about this $10 shorts deal, I never looked back. Shorts like the ever so tactical One Short, with its secure zipper pockets and handy towel loop. Also,
that's definitely
Lil
a
Wayne.
Fab
All
Lex ad.
these influences culminated into people like Uno the Activist using the baby voice early on. And if you know Uno and Carti, they were inseparable in the mid-2010s, with Carti even considering Uno his cousin. And with them being in the studio together, this may have contributed to them coming up with the baby voice. Though there's a distinction between the voices, as Carti and Uno go fully into the baby voice, pitching their voices up and talking in that certain way. Thug and Wayne more so use vocal inflections to pitch their voice up on certain aspects of the song, but don't use the baby voice all the way. Now, the baby voice would take over Carti's sound in 2018, being one of the most frequently used voices in Carti's debut album, Die Lit, with the most notable uses from that album being in Flatbed Freestyle and No Time. We'll first go over how Carti was using it on Flatbed Freestyle, where fans would coin the term Cartinese, which is Carti's own language, quote unquote, which is defined by the mumbly, high-pitched tone he uses when he speaks. This was also seen in the song No Time featuring Gunna, which is actually the song after Flatbed Freestyle. Fans have also made jokes to No Time, with them putting on completely different lyrics to the actual song. This would be a recurring theme to the baby voice, as the normal rap listener wasn't necessarily in tune with discerning Carti's delivery. However, the most notable use of the baby voice came a few months after Die Lit dropped. One of the first songs to come out for Carti's magnum opus, Whole Lotta Rit, came in the form of the Cancun snippet, directed by Hiji World. Carti would also say something that'd take over the internet over the following years. This marked the era of Carti's Whole Lotta Red V1 baby voice, but there's an even higher pitch voice that we'll cover later. For now, Carti's baby voice has been reaching the ears of millions, with a notable example being alongside Chief Keef. The YouTuber Lenar Young actually made a video called When You in the Studio But You Gotta Babysit, showing a baby doing Carti's ad-libs. Lenar would do a multitude of these using Carti's baby voice. Over the following months, Carti would start recording the first
real niggas
version of
remember Lenar, bro. What y'all know about OG Lenar, my nigga? Bro, oh my god, niggas don't know nothing about OG Lenar, bro. Fuck.
Red, mostly with Pierre Bourne. If you notice the theme, Pierre's dominated both the normal voice and baby voice eras of Carti, culminating to the August 9, 2018 studio sessions, where 3 of the most important songs of Whole Lotta Red V1 would be recorded: Skeleton, Goku, and Butterfly Doors, with Goku being a song that'll make you feel like you're floating.
my type of living. Yeah.
The songs from the studio session eventually came out months and years later, unofficially. A Whole Lotta Red was gonna have songs primarily dominated by the baby voice. Moreover, Carti was slowly being known as the guy who did the baby voice. But that wasn't all of it. Carti played these baby voice songs live in both the Dial-It and the Neon tour later down the year. He didn't only perform songs off Dial-It and self-titled, but gave us songs from his upcoming project, Whole Lotta Red. Though fans wouldn't know the lyrics to the song yet, future performances saw fans singing along to every lyric before the song was even out. 2019 was the year of leaks, seeing so many songs come from both the album and unreleased features. One of the first was the song Boulder Crest alongside Offset. He'd also do features with Solange, who also happens to be Beyonce's sister, in March of 2019. And you know what else came in March 2019? The first preview of Pissy Pamper, with the song leaking a month later. If you're a newer fan and you don't know how significant Pissy Pamper is, this—
Hold on, chat. Hold on. Hold on, chat.
Thank you for calling KBP Brands. We're a mission.
Chat, I need a cut, bro. God damn. It's been a minute. All right, chat. We back. I need a bit, bro. What the fuck is this? I need a... Word. Yo, get this shit gone. Fade this up a little. Yo, that's a cool cut on its own. Word.
This unreleased song hit #1 on Spotify's viral top 50. What's even crazier is that Carti and Nudie never released the song themselves. It was all from a different account on Spotify. Carti would also perform the song multiple times in both Coachella and Rolling Loud. Carti's baby voice was slowly taking over the mainstream, and what's a better way to give it a bigger push than to collaborate with a bigger artist, Tyler, the Creator. May 2019, Tyler would drop the album Igor, and if you had to guess what the most popular song on that project was, having almost 1 billion streams, it was Earthquake with Playboi Carti. The lyrics for Earthquake would also be posted with it saying that Carti's lyrics cannot be transcribed. People in Tyler's comments would also state that Carti was speaking in Doctor's handwriting, or that he was speaking the language of the gods. However, this wasn't the only thing that was happening in Carti's camp. He'd announced Whole Lotta Red to come out in the next 60 days in July 29. So the album is supposedly dropping within September. Unfortunately, the album didn't drop.
I'm about to do the same thing. Damn, I got a lot of fucking DMs. Hold on, chat. I'm about to do the same shit. Hold on. Hold on. All right, chat.
In September, possibly due to the amount of leaked music that was coming out. Fortunately enough, there was another version of Whole Lotta Red being recorded at around 2019 to 2020 with an even higher pitched voice from Carti. Whole Lotta Red V2. This version of Whole Lotta Red saw Carti use what some fans would call the fetus voice. Not only that, this era saw Carti use a multitude of producers, with the most notable one being Richie South. However, Carti's voice wasn't the only thing changing, as his clothes, aesthetic, and vibe was going fully into the vampire persona that Whole Lotta Red was supposed to give out. He'd even make a post saying Opium Heart, which fans would say was the first post of the formation of the label that we know and love today. But Carti's still working with Pierre, with Richie and Pierre being two of the biggest producers, or main producers, of Whole Lotta Red V2. There's actually a publicly available studio session of Whole Lotta Red V2 being recorded, and the songs on it, in my opinion, sound angelic. Moving forward to the next year, Carti did an interview with Culture Kings, stating that the album he was gonna have bars on it. He also started hanging around with Sad Boy's very own Young Lean, with them being in the studio together recording the song Yayo, which was meant to be on Lean's album Stars.
I've been on OBM for the last 10 days.
From January to March, there was silence from Carti's camp, with Carti only coming back to say he got us in response.
Carti, listen, you have disappointed us many times with your album release. Still Worship is insane. I never left. Hey, stay with me. I owe you the world, and I know it. I love you.
To an Instagram comment. Though there would be a multitude of snippets and leaks from Whole Lotta Red V2. There'd also be several songs recorded sometime within February of 2020. One of the most notable songs was though the most important piece to Whole Lotta Red V2 was when Carti actually released the first official song for it, Acme, on April 16.
I remember when this song fucking dropped. I wasn't even a Carti fan and I was on this shit crazy. Pussy ass nigga just hot shit.
This song was met with both good and bad reactions. The good reactions highlighting Carti's ability to try something new and different, and others saying that it's Carti's worst song. Carti's baby voice also inspired a few other artists to follow suit and use the baby voice themselves. People love pointing out Coach Ice as an example of this, with them saying that Coach Ice will suffice while we wait for Whole Lotta Red. Since Atma wasn't well received, it was believed that this affected the rollout of Whole Lotta Red. But there was going to be another song with the V2 voice that was going to surface a month later. Pain 1993 with Drake. The song came up in Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes, which came out in the 1st of May 2020. And this was one of the final songs from the V2 era to come out.
Remember I used to sleep on the floor. Now every day I rock Christian Dior.
The verse was met with backlash and harsh criticism, with Drake fans saying Carti ruined the song. However, I look at this as one of Carti's best and most underrated verses. The hate for Carti's V2 voice may have led Whole Lotta Red V2 to be scrapped in favor for a different voice and a different sound, which will surface later this year. But if you thought Carti didn't have any more V2 songs, you'd be wrong, as there's an entire documentary showing that there were more songs and music videos recorded for Whole Lotta Red V2. There's also this one song that fans love to say is the best song from that era, You Can Do It Too, which fans would often praise and say it's wonderful. There's more songs I'd love to cover like Movie Time, Rover, and Friends, but the angle we'll be covering from Carti's V2 voice is the officially released songs on Whole Lotta Red. When the official album came out, a bunch of songs from both Whole Lotta Red V1 and Whole Lotta Red V2 came featuring the baby voice. Songs like Plays produced by Pierre Bourne and New Neon produced by Molly Raw are songs using the original baby voice. We also got songs from Whole Lotta Red V2, with Bino and T-Nex with Future being the most notable ones. Bino was actually produced by Ken Carson, and T-Nex puts you back to 2020. After Whole Lotta Red, there were rumors of a deluxe, and songs from V2 were thought to come out of it. There were also songs leaking like Carti with Lil Uzi from the V2 era.
And I got a Rolls Royce. It make the white folks step. You don't give a fuck back down. How the fuck you think I come?
But there was one voice that dominated Whole Lotta Red, a voice that would make Carti one of the most recognized and iconic performers of the modern day. Some fans call it his raspy voice, others call it the vamp voice. For easier reference, we'll be calling it the raspy voice.
Ever since my brother died.
Carti's raspy voice has been defined by the sounds of Whole Lotta Red, with the most notable feature from it being the ad-libs that Carti had. In my opinion, this is Carti's best voice, as I believe his best work comes from it. It was also the voice that made Carti look like a modern-day rock star. The first song that was previewed that had Carti's raspy voice was Go to the Moon with Kanye West, produced by Weezy and Outta The song marked a new era for Carti, something more aggressive, different from everything else he's ever made.
Go to the moon. Go to the moon. Go to the moon.
The raspy voice era saw a multitude of producers come forward for Carti, and if you notice, the beat's even more aggressive. The reason for that is that it was produced by
Wake up, Filthy.
Filthy would become synonymous with Carti's raspy voice and had iconic songs like New Tank, On That Time, and most importantly, Stop Breathing is my favorite song of all time. The aggression, energy, and passion that Carti gave out in that song was out of this world. And the live performance proved that even more. Filthy became Carti's lead producer, curating the sounds of the biggest songs off Whole Lotta Red. However, Carti's raspy voice was also met with a bunch of backlash, with fans pleading for Carti to go back to the V1 voice and to have Pierre as the main producer again, since Pierre only had 2 songs on the project. I remember having to defend Whole Lotta Red on that Christmas day. It was horrible, with fans expecting songs like Cancun and Goku to be on it. Fortunately enough, Carti did not stick with that sound. Carti's music is meant to be different. It's not meant to be stagnant, and it aims to give you something entirely new when you listen to it. That's the appeal for Carti, hence the different voices and sounds that Carti gives you. If Carti stuck to the V1 sound, he'd be comparable to other artists who'd never tried to evolve their sound, and he wouldn't be where he is today. Whole Lotta Red also had more emotional, raspy voice songs, like Control, produced by Art Dealer, Outta Town, and Starboy, and Over, produced by Art Dealer.
How the fuck we got to where we started? The love don't feel the same like when we started.
This
Thank you again. I know we just talked through a lot, so why don't you give the rest of the
versatile. He was able to give you songs that you can both rage to and look over a sunset to. Most of the lyrics using the raspy voice was catered to Carti's rockstar lifestyle. This was also around the same time where Carti got more into tobacco products, possibly influencing the reason why his voice sounds raspier. The most popular song to come off the raspy voice is Sky, going mainstream and having people who never listened to Carti before listen to King Vamp for the first time.
Yo, oh my god. Oh my god, you gay ass nigga. You gay as shit, son. No cap. You might be one of them.
The final official solo song to come from Carti using the raspy voice is the outro of Whole Lotta Red, Feel Like Dying. I said official solo song since the new drops are on YouTube. After the release of Whole Lotta Red, fans were expecting a deluxe to the album, Unfortunately, that never came. Instead, there was a multitude of leaks to come out, such as Outside, Never Seen Stuff, and YSL Cheetah. This version of Whole Lotta Red would be called Whole Lotta Red V3, featuring Carti's raspier voice, which was leaked in December of 2022. But that wasn't the end of it. Fans wanted to see the raspy voice performed live, and we got it only a week after the album came out. Carti performed the raspy voice in Cyberworld in front of a live stream. Fans wanted Carti to perform to an actual live audience, and we got that. Chicago 2021. The world was introduced to King Vamp in Lollapalooza. However, fans wanted another song from Carti, and it would make a comeback again in August when Kanye released Donda. Carti was on 3 songs off Donda: Junior, Junior 2, and Off the Grid. Off the Grid was one of the biggest songs of 2021. But what's even crazier is that Carti never had a proper tour for Whole Lotta Red. On a good note though, we'd get an announcement in September for the Narcissist tour. And when it did happen, Carti's most iconic performances came, making the raspy voice the voice associated with Carti's image. The raspy voice is what made Carti look like a modern day rock star throughout 2021 and 2022, and his performances prove that, with Carti not even singing his lyrics sometimes. He just scream and screech, and the show itself would be insane. 2 years would pass since the release of Whole Lotta Red, but a new album or single hasn't come out yet. Leaks and videos would come out, but all we got was silence until Carti came back to perform live in 2023 in Rolling Loud, Los Angeles. The show was introduced by Swamp Izzo saying, followed with an aggressive verse from Carti. Now, this voice was still raspy, but some fans would argue that this was a different voice, his rock star voice. And of course, this song was produced by Filthy. This song was what fans would call Rockstar. Another song came in Wireless UK called Pop Out. This was another rendition of what fans have been starting to call the raspy voice, something ultra aggressive and will get any mosh pit jumping. Unfortunately, this voice wouldn't be continued much longer, as the rollout for music was starting and the deep voice started taking over. When Fiend came out, fans believed that Carti was going to go all in on that deep voice route. That may be true to a certain extent. However, Carti shocked the world by dropping another song with the caption, "You can't judge something if there's no criteria," by coming out with You're the Moon or
Different day. I just be styling this hard sleep. See ya.
This was one of the first songs to come with his soft, whispery voice, and fans loved it. They said we were coming home as it was a break from the deep voice. This was also the song where Carti started saying, "See ya." This line became one of the most defining features from Carti as of recent, and fans loved this soft, raspy voice that he was giving out. Some fans would even call this the "See ya" voice. The next song would also have that in 2024, with Carti coming back saying, "Put him on the news, put him on the news. Another feature from 2024 was the 2 voices within the song. Carti had both the deep voice and the soft, whispery voice on it. There were plenty of people who said that this song saved their lives, and I wouldn't blame them for it. However, the songs after 2024 were mostly Carti using the deep voice, though we'd get a blessing in Summer Smash 2024, with Carti playing an unreleased song on it, which fans called G-Wagon or Crash Out. There were also many people calling this his best song and the song of the decade. It seems like music will be a mixture of both the deep voice and the raspy voice, and I'm all for it. The most recent song to come using the soft, whispery voice is a snippet previewed on Carti's Instagram, accompanied by a music video.
I made mad honey. I got red money. I've been on my back.
What's to come next from this point may be a variety from the 2 voices on the album. What I do know for sure is that the album's gonna be amazing. All we can do is get ready for it. Carti's set to tour around the world during this time period, blessing Asia, Europe, and America with these voices. And when the album does come out, we might even get something entirely new.
damn, that was a good ass fucking video, man. I fuck with that shit heavily. I might gotta check out bro's channel for sure. Hold on, let me see what type of videos he be making. Oh, he be making street Obium videos.